Hare Krishna. To all devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. So we're very fortunate this evening to have with us as our guest for our monthly Sankirtana meeting, Navina Nirada Prabhu, who's probably quite well known to all of you because he travels the world quite extensively. We are actually hoping that he could travel more in Europe, but he travels all around the world quite extensively, inspiring and enthusing devotees uh, for distributing Prabhupada's books, and especially just now he wrote his book about his life and book distribution and all many inspiring. I'm sure he can tell us all about it during this meeting, and we'll encourage everyone to get a copy. It's being printed by the BBT, so it's fully authorized, bona fide book, and I'm sure it's going to be very, very inspiring for devotees. He's been doing Sankirtan since he was 15 years old, voluntarily arrived and said, I want to distribute books. This is what I did. He's dedicated his life since that day until the present day. So he's been always an inspiring example for everyone who knows him and for all devotees all over the movement. So we'd like to pass over to him.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Tredas Prabhu, for your kind words of introduction. Please accept my humble obeisances over Srila Prabhupada. All glories to the Sankirtan devotees and the Sankirtan movement of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So, greetings from Govardhan. We're here at Giriraj's lotus feet. And Govardhan is the greatest of the devotees because he's glorifying Krishna in many different features. Krishna is known as Giridhari, the one who has carried Govardhan on his left pinky for a whole week to give shelter to the Brijbasis. So in a similar way, the Sankirtan movement of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given us shelter and has given us service and meaning and purpose in life. So we're here and we're studying Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya-lila with His Grace Vaisheshika Prabhu every day for many, many hours. And it's wonderful to see how we can take real refuge in Srila Prabhupada's words when we study them in the association of devotees. This is the boat that will carry us over this ocean of birth and death. Everybody needs shelter in this world, and there's a lot of false shelters, but the teachings of our acharyas, they give us real shelter because they give us service to Krishna, to Radha and Krishna, and that is the highest form of absorption. So we just traveled 30 countries, 20 in the Americas and 10 in Europe. And honestly speaking, everyone is dying to get Srila Prabhupada's books because the world is burning up in ignorance and hate and polarization. And the antidote is really Krishna Katha. Yatredyante katam rishtas trishnayo prashamoyotra nirvairam yatra bhuteshu nodvego yatra kaschana. That when we hear the Bhagavatam, when we hear the glorification of Krishna from devotees who have realization about Krishna, then there is no fear, no envy, no material affliction, at least while we're hearing the Bhagavatam. So that should encourage us, Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya, to hear Bhagavatam every day. You had yesterday a meeting where it was announced that for Bhadra Purnima, 40,000 sets of Srimad Bhagavatam were distributed worldwide. Is that a Haribol or is that a Haribol? That's amazing. Yeah, it's almost 1 million copies, individual volumes of Srimad Bhagavatam that went out globally. that's unprecedented. And we were just working up to the goal of distributing 108,000 Bhagavatam sets next year, 2026. And it is quite possible by the guidance, by the leadership of all the illustrious Sankirtan leaders like your good selves. Europe has come up. It's been on the up and up, as you have all noticed. If you look at the newsletter that Tredas Prabhu is compiling and sending out with, all these wonderful graphs, not just scores, but also quotes from Prabhupada's books and lectures and Sankirtan stories from the devotees, and encouragement for everyone. So right now it seems like certain countries are doing very well. I just like to highlight a couple of observations from my last tour, and then we can maybe have a little discussion, and I'll speak shortly about the book that I wrote. So the last places I visited, I finished up in Bulgaria. We had Rath Yatra festival in Sofia just a few days ago, and it was very well attended. Many devotees were distributing books. So to organize and to participate in these festivals and have active book distribution, that is a wonderful way to reach the public, because Rath Yatra is our greatest outreach festival of the year, and the people immediately become attracted when they see devotees chanting and dancing. There's carts, there's decorations. Lord Jagannath with his brother Baladev and sister Subhadra, they are out in full regalia, and everybody becomes attracted. So these festivals are a wonderful way how to distribute vast amounts of books. Before that, I was in Turkey. I just got pictures from Turkey, from the Ankara book fair. Devotees are going to different book fairs all over the country and presenting Srila Prabhupada's books. And there's great interest by the public. So if you take a note of these different fairs, can be book fairs, can be other trade shows or events. I know in the US, devotees go to tattoo conventions or Comic-Cons, these where these superheroes and cartoon characters are glorified. And they distribute books there, vast amounts of books, music festivals. So festivals are a wonderful opportunity to distribute vast amounts of books of Srila Prabhupada. Before that, I was in the Ukraine for 2 weeks, and I visited Lviv, Kiev, Dnipropetrovsk, and Odessa. And we got 25, there's not full sets, it's only up to 4th canto. So there's maybe a good 14 books in Ukrainian language. We got about 25 sets distributed and sponsored there. So it shows that if you put in a little bit of effort especially on a Sunday feast, you speak about the Bhagavatam, and then you ask who would like to have a set and who would like to sponsor one. And then if you yourself say, okay, I'm going to sponsor 1 or 2 sets for an interested person. I usually do it for teenagers because I got my first set when I was a teenager. So I feel strongly about that. And then you have 1 or 2 people who usually raise their hand. They would like to get a set. And it's funny, we did that also in Lithuania at the Baltic Festival, and 16 full box sets got purchased. And then the person who got a set, he also wanted to sponsor a set for somebody else. So people start paying it forward, it's like a whole domino effect, the whole chain reaction takes place. Kiev, the father of one, he sponsored 2 sets. And so, yeah, generosity breeds generosity. With this process of giving, it ends up becoming like an avalanche, like Srila Prabhupada. He arrived in the United States just a little over 60 years ago. Shredas Prabhu was there in Boston for the festival to commemorate Srila Prabhupada's 60th year of Srila arrival in Boston. And Prabhupada came and he just brought a couple of books. That's all he had. The Order of his Spiritual Master, the Holy Name, small pair of cards, 40 rupees, non-exchangeable, and $20 from Captain Pandey for the first set that he distributed. And he survived for more than a year just by selling his own books, placing them in bookstores on consignment basis. So Prabhupada, he's our founder acharya. He's shown us how it's possible to expand the Sankirtan movement. He said, I didn't go to that park to attract a crowd. I went there to glorify Krishna. And that was so attractive that people were willing to give their lives. They took to the process because this is highly attractive. When you see someone who is glorifying Krishna in a selfless way, it is very attractive. In Ukraine, we went out every day on Harinam and book distribution. You know, it's very, very dangerous. Every night there's drone attacks. The devotees are risking to get drafted into the army. So yet they came out for Harinam. They came out for book distribution. Somebody's not muted. So it was quite an experience, to say the least. So then what is my difficulty? Taking on a little bit of the burden of Srila Prabhupada to try to spread the Sankirtan movement. Before that, we had a tour of Germany. We went and visited every center in Germany practically and distributed books during the afternoon. Morning driving, afternoon distributing, evening program. Next day, wash, rinse, repeat. And the formula, the process works. People are more open than ever to receive Prabhupada's books. When there's Harinam, it's very attractive. It's very easy to distribute books with Harinam. So if you can combine that, we also went to Austria in Linz. We had that experience in a few of the cities where we had the good fortune to be together with a Harinam party. It makes it so attractive and so easy to distribute Prabhupada's books, to pass on the message. I know many of you are still in your younger years and you're very concerned, okay, what's going to happen in my life? And I want to attract the attention of my spiritual master. I want to do something of substance. And I want to distribute a lot of books. It's sometimes we oversee the fact that if we invest a little bit of time and energy and effort into training our congregation, you can distribute 10 times more books that way. Naturally, they will be attracted by your example of preaching and book distribution. Yet if you also take the time to give seminars, like I saw the devotees from Singhachalam, they went to Zurich and they held a Sankirtan training session there. They gave talks and workshops and took devotees out on book distribution. And these things, they leave very, very deep samskaras, very, very deep impressions in the minds and hearts of the congregation. And over and above all, the devotees, they see that it's possible, it's actually possible to do this. It's not just a good idea, but it's the best idea, and it actually works. They see it firsthand experience. For me, I was blessed, I was fortunate. Devotees took the time to take me out on Sankirtan, and I could watch them and assist them, and in my own small way, learn the art of book distribution. So different places are at different stages of development. In some places we have strong leadership, like you can see in Italy, Tredas Prabhu and others in the UK, in Hungary. So book distribution is very strong. It's being endorsed and promoted from the top. In other places, it's more a grassroots operation, and there may not be that much advocacy, that much support from the management. Yet, when we go out and we show by our own example that it's not only possible, but it's working, and it makes a huge difference, then everybody will become attracted and eventually take part in it, including the management. So leadership means vision, and vision is rare in this age of Kali, because it's easy to think, oh, what needs to be done right now? How can I just get things done? But if we actually sit down and think for a little bit, what will have lasting impact? What will make a difference in the long run? In my own life, in the lives of the devotees, and in the lives of all the people of this country, then we have to conclude that Harinam Sankirtan, especially the distribution of Srila Prabhupada's books, it's what gives a lasting impression on society at large. I remember going out in the early 80s, people had very little knowledge about karma reincarnation, yoga meditation, vegetarianism. These were quite foreign concepts. And nowadays, everything is mainstream. If you want to do a little impact, you want to have people raise some eyebrows, you have to speak about bhakti, about selfless love, selfless service. And that will capture people's attention. The other topics, they're old. People already acknowledge their existence and also seeing their limitations. People want to go beyond these concepts of religion and selfish concerns, and connect to something bigger, something greater, something more powerful, something actually honest, something sincere. And that's the Sankirtan movement of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So I wrote this book during the pandemic.
You're coming and
And
going.
the DVT kindly agreed
Your
to
audio is
publish
coming and going.
it. And now it's being printed in our. Okay. Am I audible, or is it very abstract? Let me open.
Half audible. It's not a good connection.
Yeah. Well, there's no Wi-Fi here, and the internet is now better.
Now it's a little better, yeah.
Maybe you can show a video.
Yes. Which one?
The person had to wait 50 years before he could see, before he could hear Srila Prabhupada.
Well, you told me, you sent me, okay.
Yes.
Hope it should work. Yes.
There's no sound.
No sound.
Maybe you can start again with sound. One time in San Francisco on Market and Powell, just where the cable car starts, I met a man. I showed him the Bhagavad Gita. He said, I met the Swami. I told him that it's many years since he left the world. He said, I'm from New York, and I grew up in the village. When I heard that the Swami was there on 26 2nd Avenue, I went there. Somebody told me he's upstairs in his apartment. He said he went up to his room, that the Swami was sitting at a low desk, and he sat down, and for 40 minutes, they said nothing. He said it was perfect, because he knew that I knew that he knew. After 40 minutes, the Swami motioned to one of his assistants to give the man some fruit, and he left the room. He had to wait for 50 years till he could hear Srila Prabhupada speak. He accepted a chant and be happy, a small book, and gave a symbolic donation. Srila Prabhupada recognized that he was not capable of hearing him at that time. He did not speak to him at that moment. And the man had to wait for 50 years before he got the chance to hear Srila Prabhupada's words. So, Sankirtanamrita, the nectar of Sri Krishna Sankirtan, is the story of what happens to a 15-year-old who gets one of Srila Prabhupada's books, what he experienced and learned in the next 4 decades. And it's also a companion, a guide, and a friend to all the Sankirtan devotees. And it's a manual, a handbook. If a new person would find this book, that person would know how to restart the Sankirtan movement from scratch. So there's a lot of stories and anecdotes in there from my own experience and from what I heard from others. So the book is going to be available in the usual channels, the different the different places. You can order it for your devotees, for your congregation. It's being printed in Europe also right now. We printed in India for India and in Europe for the rest of the world. And a free ebook is included. The book belongs to the BBT. Assign it over to them. So consider this something that can help you increase your Sankirtan. And yeah, it's interesting to see what Krishna's plan is, how Krishna wants us to serve, how he wants us to become more patient, more tolerant, more cooperative, and a little more humble. That's part of the Sankirtan process, Cheto Dharpanamarjanam. That's always that churning, that positive tension is happening. Have you noticed? Like here in Govardhan, the devotees put a book table out on the mark and the Parikram mark right in front of the ISKCON Bhaktivedanta ashram, and they distribute over 100 books every day. And I stepped out there, there's pilgrims walking by, and you stop them and hand them a book of Prabhupada and just pray to Krishna. I can't do this. These people they're more advanced than I'll ever be, but please empower me, help me to be an instrument of your compassion. And they take books and they contribute. They buy sets of Chaitanya Charitamrita and Lilamrita and Bhagavad Gitas and small books, and it's a joy. It's wonderful to see that in any place, in every place, especially in such holy places like Govardhan, people have great appreciation for Srila Prabhupada's books. So if you can show the other video, a chain reaction. And then we can open up for a discussion.
After a long day of book distribution, we were driving back home. My friend Harinamananda said, "Stop the car." He pointed to a door. He said, "Hand me a set of Srimad Bhagavatam." We handed him the books. He went, he knocked on that door. After 10 minutes, he came back without any books. We asked him, "Did you know these people? Did you have an appointment?" He said, "No, but I had a very strong feeling in my heart that they need a full set of Srila Prabhupada's books." We all were quiet and drove back home to the temple.
Mhm.
So maybe you can share the links in the chat. There's already 4 videos out. There will be many more to come. Feel free to circulate them. Maybe you can put these 4 links of these videos in the chat, or you just send them out with your maybe better with the monthly Sankirtan newsletter, right? Then people, they keep that and they can just click on it from there and share it. So this also shows, like, this German film team who made these videos, they went to India 3 times, and we filmed in Europe also several times. So this shows that when we spend time and energy to encourage our congregation, they can reach audiences way beyond our own capacity. Like, they came and made this promotional video about "Let the World Come to Mayapur." I'm sure you've seen that one. It was on all different platforms. And tens of thousands of people, or hundreds of thousands of people, have seen that and passed it on to their friends and family and colleagues and acquaintances. So there's a cultural revolution. The Sankirtan movement spreads in many different ways. Yet we understand books are the basis. Books contain the foundation, the theology, the essence of our teachings. So by studying these books, by living them, and by sharing them with others, culture is preserved not through legislation, not through lawmaking, but through role models, through persons who mold their lives according to the tenets of these scriptures. And that will inspire people to do the same. So these are some reflections that I have on this topic. It was truly fortune, a great blessing to meet all these Sankirtan devotees in these different countries and places, and to see how even newcomers who are very young in life and in Krishna consciousness are oftentimes more enthusiastic and more enlivened than we are. Have you noticed? It's quite uncanny. It's quite a revelation when you see sometimes new devotees totally on fire, and so it's perfectly all right, and it's okay. We can get inspired by seeing the enthusiasm, the dedication, the sincerity. Like, I saw these young devotees going out there in the heat, a Govardhan, and just paying full dandavats to pilgrims who just stop in their track. What is this white guy laying on the floor here, paying his dandavats? And that catches their attention. and then taking off their shoes, handing them a book. When people see that there is real sincerity, that there's real humility, there's real empathy, compassion, they connect, and they get touched in their heart. They become attracted, and they want to participate. They want to be part of this experience because it's attractive. It's attractive. Srila Prabhupada's example is highly attractive, and we pray to him that he may grant us a molecule of the determination, of the patience, and of the faith that he had in the instruction of his spiritual master and on the order of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Yarade ke tarikaha Krishna Upadesh, Amargyai Guru Hai Tara Edesh. We're just reading in Chaitanya Charitamrita how Lord Chaitanya travels throughout South India, and wherever he goes, he gives people the same instruction. Bhaja Krishna, Bolo Krishna, Koro Krishna Shika. That you worship Krishna, you glorify Krishna, and you share his teachings with others. When the Kurma Brahmin in Kurma Kshetra wanted to join Lord Chaitanya told him, no, you stay at home with your family and friends, and you do what I've told you to do. You chant Krishna's name, and you do that with others, with the people that are there in your locality. And in this way, we will always be connected. We'll always be part of the same Sankirtan team. Param Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtan. This is the true United Nations. This is the true panacea, the life-giving ambrosia, the antidote to the ignorance and hate and polarization that the world is experiencing right now. So I'd like to thank each and every one of you for dedicating your lives to the Sankirtan movement of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Never doubt that this is the best thing to do. Never think, oh, this is just a phase, or this is what I do when I don't know what to do. This is foundational. This is monumental. This is massive. And don't worry, Krishna, he's got you covered. Whatever is meant to come, it will manifest through your sincere efforts to propagate the Sankirtan movement. Thank you for your kind attention and participation. There is only a few weeks till the Prabhupada Marathon. So this is a good time to prepare ourselves, to ready ourselves. The more we absorb ourselves in Krishna Katha, the more we absorb ourselves in Srila Prabhupada's books, then the easier it becomes to share it. When you have taste, when you have great appreciation for something, how difficult is it to share it with others? It becomes quite natural. It's a natural extension of our own appreciation. So I hope there's something that resonated with you. Think in terms of team, invest into others. If there is not much directive from the top, then you take that role. You take that role of being the guide, the spiritual leader, and giving people direction. Everybody who has conviction, everybody who has vision can share that with others. So ideal is utopia. We can't wait till, when will these illustrious brahmacharis from India or from some other country come and do the good work here in our country? No, we should strategize and work with who we have, and then Krishna will give us more. When he sees that we are using our facilities and our opportunities, then he can give us more. But if we're not engaging ourselves and our resources and others, then why would Krishna give us more? We would not be able to handle it. We would not be able to use those resources in a wise, in a productive way. And Krishna, he wants to glorify his devotees, as we can see in the life of Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada struggled, and he tried many different strategies, many different things to expand the Sankirtan movement. And Krishna, he glorified him through this struggle, through this endeavor, like he did with the Pandavas, like he did with all his pure devotees. So don't think it's going to be easy. There will be some obstacles and certain setbacks, but that is to be expected. What question is there of glorious victory if there's no struggle to attain it? Krishna does this to glorify his devotees. So thank you very much for your kind attention and participation. Hare Krishna. I believe we have some time for a few questions or comments.
I have plenty of time. So if anyone would like, they can please raise their hand, send a little yellow hand up, and anyone is welcome to speak. So, but about South America, I was curious. I know the reality is quite different there than here, or social, cultural, but you're so enthusiastic to go there. Visit so many places.
Yeah, well, it's a big world. It's a big world out there. And so there are thousands and thousands of devotees in South and Central America and the Caribbean. So, and with a little bit of encouragement, they can do wonders. They can do massively. In the late 70s, countries like Bolivia, Ecuador were on top of the world's book distribution. They were distributing in buses mainly hundreds and hundreds of books daily, each devotee. So the people are pious, they're simple, they believe in God, they're very inclined, they don't have much money, yet they're charitable. So they take books. It's a great opportunity. It's a great opportunity. So if you want to experience some pioneering work, it is still possible. It is still available. In some places, we have bigger temples or congregations or preaching centers. And in other places, it's just home gatherings and individuals. The BBT just printed a massive amount of books that are very attractive, very economical, and they've come up with pocket books. I don't know if you've seen them. Very portable and affordable, exactly suited to the local market. So we're very fortunate to have able guidance and leadership from the BBT, and it's a great opportunity. Like we see in Christianity, for every Catholic who joins in Europe and America, 6 people leave the church, but because they're investing billions of dollars into the developing world, formerly known as third world, they are still keeping their numbers steady and slightly increasing because of that massive investment that they do, especially in literature distribution in these continents. So if we can learn, Prabhupada said, study Catholic Church. They've been around for 2,000 years. See what they're doing. You get some indicators, some sense of an idea. And I really like the formula, like ISKCON of Silicon Valley is sponsoring a lot of books for South America, also for India. And that can help for places where, like putting Bhagavatam sets in each and every village in India, people feel very strongly about that. In Turkey also, they have a program to sponsor a set of books for a library. Devotees get excited about this. So find out different models that excite your congregation. People are inspired to sponsor literature, and that should become a regular. I visited the mother of one of my best friends in Moldova, and she's a really saintly lady, very pious, and brought her free gifts and to give her a donation. And then she gave me back, like without counting, she gave me back like 10% of what I'd given her. And she said, we should give 10% to the preachers. It was very, very touching to see how people still have that culture, that appreciation, that to give back. So if we give our congregation the opportunity to give back, and there is transparency, there is accountability, then a lot can happen. I think I told you the story of a friend of mine, Ryan Pandit, who was distributing books in Shanghai, biggest train station in the world. And one man asked him what he's doing, and he said, before China was such a spiritual place, and now it's all about money and politics and corruption. So the man said, what do you want to do? He said, I want to put these books in all the universities, all the libraries. And he looked at the books and he handed him $50,000. He said, I'll sponsor 100 sets. And then the devotee, he gave him receipts and pictures from all these librarians and professors and students who appreciate Prabhupada's books. And he said, okay, I'll sponsor another 100 sets for Hong Kong, another 100 sets for Taiwan, another 100 sets. He sponsored 800 sets of Bhagavatam. He gave $400,000 for book distribution. So there's no limit of resources when we're doing the right thing with the right spirit, with the right attitude, not of pride or control or enjoyment, but of selfless service that we just hear as the humble servants. Like Prabhupada said in his own case, that I didn't go to the West, but the Bhagavatam went to the West. And I just carried the cases. I just carried the Bhagavatam. That is the mood of the Sankirtan devotee. So don't get discouraged when things are a little difficult. Remember Prabhupada's struggle and just try to be the instrument. And then nimitta matram bhavya savya sachin. Krishna will take care of the rest. Questions, reflections, comments? I could tell you countless stories, but I thought maybe you have some reflections or questions.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
I wanted to ask one question on the point of like understanding the conditioning of people we meet. Like, for example, we are right now in Sweden. And
hey, my friends
yeah.
from Sweden. Is
For
it snowing already? Is it snowing already?
Not snowing. It's getting to the freezing point.
Okay.
And we have been traveling this summer in Sweden. And the people in Sweden, they're like, they're different from other countries. They're like more closed up, like unresponsive. You have experience also. And
yes.
Sometimes we can see like the conditioning of people, we can see it as an obstacle. But how can we instead make it an opportunity and take advantage of the conditioning of the Swedish people?
It's very much possible when we just pray to Lord Chaitanya, then even impossible things become easy by his mercy. So they have many good qualities there. I mean, you know, stuff works, you know. You got Volvo, you got Scout. People are smart. I in such places, I go up to people and ask them, are you smart or are you average? You know, that usually catches their attention. This is for all the intelligent people. Are you a student or a businessman? You just give them some appreciation, and usually they connect. They will start to pay attention, and even if not externally, there is a soul in there's a jiva in every in every animate object. So just talk to the soul and don't have unrealistic expectations. Yeah, it's not like the Latinos who are like, ah, bambino, you know, ah, da 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 da, you know. Don't move your hands and talk loud. Otherwise, the moose, you know, the big moose will get scared and will run back into the forest. So we have to understand and acknowledge local conditioning and work with it. Work with it. It's got an advantage. People there are sober. They're very sober. unless it's the weekend. But in general, they're more intellectually astute and tuned in, so you can appeal to people's intellect. And you speak the language, you know the mentality. I tell people I speak 15 languages, but the one that most people can resonate with is empathy. People are looking for a friend. They're looking for someone who cares, who actually takes some interest in them. Just go up to people and you ask them, how are you doing? How is things? Now, I know in some places they may be a little threatening, maybe a little too much, too fast. So you have to know how to dose it. Sometimes it's like you say hello and that's enough, you know, or you smile. Don't push your luck. Don't go too fast. So you have to see. But Krishna will guide you, and you can distribute a lot of books. I remember Scandinavia was always on the top. Back in the day, in the 80s, we had fierce competition with Pramarnava and all the others who were distributing books there. It was massive, and it can still be massive. So you're blessed, you're fortunate. You have a whole you have the whole Scandinavia practically to yourself. And people are very much educated. There is no lack of resources. It's just a matter of being at the right place at the right time, and willing to be a little bit flexible in the details of how we approach them, how we present. I would not push, you know, the God thing on people. That may be a little heavy, but people are educated. They like to read. They're interested in knowledge. Okay, so keep going and don't freeze. Okay, stay warm. In the wintertime, I suggest you go door to door, business to business, shop to shop, offices, so you can be more indoors. So you have more longevity, because on the streets it gets a little harder when it goes into the below 10 and more than that. It gets more difficult. So don't lose your health, and keep going for the long run. And I really like your camaraderie. Like Vishnu appeared to the Prachetas and he said, I like your friendship. I like how you do this thing together. It's very attractive, you know. So it's very nice to see your peers. You grew up, so you're from the same generation. You grew up together, and now you engage in Harinam Sankirtan. That's a very attractive formula. People see, yeah, there's a bunch of young people who have put their egos aside, and they're doing the good work. That's highly attractive formula. Thank you for doing that, and I know you got a lot of mercy from Guru and Krishna for doing this. Hare Krishna. And Krishna will give you the intelligence. There's no hard and fast rules. Use your faculty and come up with novel ways of how to distribute Krishna consciousness. It's not all, you know, there are new frontiers. There are new ways how to connect with people and how to distribute Prabhupada's books. Other questions or reflections?
We have Raghava Kripa from Boston in America is also online. I think he stepped away for a moment. His picture disappeared. Oh, there he is. Okay. Haribol. He, for instance, is going to all the students going to the universities in Boston, especially the first year students as they come rushing by. Maybe you could say a few words to encourage him in his book distribution, because also there it's getting cold.
Yeah. In the first 2 years of college, people are very open. They just want to experience everything. And they're just like, they're freshmen, they're still fresh, so they're not yet fully boxed in, and their wings haven't been clipped yet. They haven't become cynical and depressed like the rest of the bunch who just had a little too much of everything. So it's a great opportunity. Prabhupada wanted these books to go out to the university students because they're the future leaders. So you're doing great work. And yes, students are a little proud. They got something to be proud about. They're going to elite schools. There's a lot of pressure there to perform academically and socially and from their parents. So you have to be quite vivid. You have to be quite sharp if you want to connect with people. So yeah, I usually ask people, are you a student? Are you smart, or are you average? And just you have to say something to catch their attention. Sometimes a little pointed, but you have to do something to catch their attention. You can't just hold out a book and think they're gonna go for it. They're not as simple as pious people are in many parts of the world. So, but you can appeal to their intelligence, and they're seeking knowledge. They're seeking meaning. They're lacking purpose. I ask them, so what's your goal? Like, if you had the magic wand, what would you be? What are the three greatest distractions at the moment? You know, your mind, your phone, or the fear not to reach your full potential. You know, little things like that. I just engage them in a conversation, and usually something sticks. They go like, wow, okay, I need to talk to this guy. This makes sense. I have a little line for every book, you know. So you come up with your own lines. Like, I give people perfect question, perfect answers, and I say, if you don't like the dialogue, you know, ask better questions. You'll get better answers. Things like that. So you can just present it in an attractive way. I mean, the books are they're so attractive. They speak for themselves. I'd go up to students and I ask them, have you mastered the mind? Or is the mind still ruling and ruining your world? And a lot of people, they just stop and freeze in their tracks, and they just connect, and they say, well, you got something for me. You this is definitely an issue. This is definitely a topic that especially students are struggling with, you know, mental health, focus, attention, presence. And you can speak about these things and show how Bhakti Yoga, Krishna consciousness, is the positive solution. You have to make that bridge, that little connection, you know, make it relatable. People are not looking to be converted or to be preached to or to be proven ignorant, but people like to be inspired, and they like to gain something that they're lacking in life. And then, yeah, the books will travel. The books will travel. They find their target. They're like smart bombs. They will hit the target. You never know who's going to be the real recipient of the books that you distribute.
Thank you, Prabhu, so much.
So,
Ambulance says
Hare
very
Krishna.
grateful.
And build your team. Build your team. You have to reach out to the locals, because
Yes.
you know, otherwise there's always this cultural conditioning. Okay, where's the Indian guy? Where's the Hindu? Where's the Deshi? You know, the guy who already believes in this, who already knows this, and he will give me a donation. He may show interest in what we're doing. But what are we doing? We're trying to do Pashyata Deshatarine. We're trying to preach to the locals. And you know, Prabhupada had the opportunity to preach to Indians in India, but he saw that they weren't really fully paying attention. So that's why he went to the West, and he saw that if I can get Westerners interested in Krishna consciousness, then the world, including India, will start paying attention. Otherwise, it just stays by Indians for Indians. And that, you know, can be a nice thing if you're in India, but if you're in the rest of the world, people want to see, okay, where are your locals? What is happening on the home front? So we have to stay relatable to the others, meaning to the 99%. It's easy to just look for our own kind and preach to them. I know they're very receptive, but Prabhupada did this tremendous effort, this tremendous task of just befriending everybody. And he was not having stereotypes or having an inferiority or superiority complex, but he was unconditionally loving and kind and detached. And that mixture is highly attractive. So thank you for sticking it out there in the hostile environment of Boston, where the climate and the attitude is not always so so agreeable and so humble. But know it for a fact that Srila Prabhupada is very pleased, and you're getting a lot of mercy from Guru Parampara to preach in these places where Prabhupada started out. It's a great opportunity. And if you want to expand, then enlist locals, enlist youngsters, students. That's the age group where people still like activism. They're looking for a cause, they're looking for a purpose, for a mission in life. So everyone in doing this. One time distributing books at a conference, somebody, he opened the boxes and was just handing out books ecstatically, just wildly handing them to people. Just a part of taking donation. He didn't get that part, but he's just passing out books to people. So the process works. We just have to step out of the center and let Krishna do the magic. So thank you for dedicating your life to this preaching mission and teaching others how to do it. I've personally seen, for whatever little realization I have, that it's not because of my own doing, but because I've tried to help others. So Krishna has helped me, and he has given me way above and beyond of what I could ever expect or anticipate. So when we have appreciation, when we have gratitude, then we want to wholeheartedly take shelter. That's how we started out, and that's how we'll finish this session. To take shelter in the Bhagavatam, to take shelter in the instructions of Srila Prabhupada. And this is the boat that will carry us over this ocean of Bhavasagara, this ocean of birth and death. And there's plenty of scope in that boat, plenty of space for to accommodate the whole universe. And even if the whole universe gets liberated, like Lord Chaitanya liberated the whole universe because Vasudev Datta was pleading with him and was asking him for that favor, don't worry. There's plenty of more people who are willing to take the plunge, who are ready to to try out the material world. So we should never think, oh, Maya's going to go out of business if we distribute too many books. There is plenty of opportunity for everyone. So thank you for your kind attention and your dedication and your appreciation. It is highly attractive. I feel very fortunate and blessed to get your association in all these places that I go to. There's devotees, there is books, there's deities, there's prasadam. It's such a blessing. It's such a fortune. Imagine you have to go somewhere and you have to start it all from scratch. Srila Prabhupada did that colossal, monumentous task of just going out on a limb in full faith. Shraddha Shabde Vishwas Kahe Sudridanish Krishna Bhakti Kaila Sarva Karma Krita Hoy. That Krishna has got my back. Krishna has a plan, and I'm happy to be just a small instrument in his hands. Make me dance, make me dance. That was Prabhupada's prayer. That was his mood in the Jaladuta. We all have to board our own Jaladuta and take that leap of faith on a daily basis to pray to Guru and Krishna to please empower us, to bless us with their kind mercy, with their benevolence. And then the impossible becomes quite possible. Thank you very much. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to all the Sankirtan devotees.
And all glories to
Hare
Navina
Krishna, Hare
Nirada.
Krishna,
Thank you so much.
Hare Hare,
Haribo.
Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
So we can unmute everyone and
Shall I?
say Haribo.
Haribol.
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 Thank you.
Haribol. Thank you.
Haribo.
Haribol.
So our,
Yes, and please order a few cases or a few hundred, and of these books, Sankirtan Amrita, the Nectar of Sri Krishna Sankirtan. You can gift them to your congregation, and I guarantee you, money back guarantee, that you will see a rise in interest and in participation for the Sankirtan activity. Hare Krishna.
thanks
All
for everyone's
glories to
participation,
all
and
of
we'll
you.
send the
Thank you,
recording out
Srila
tomorrow
Prabhu.
morning. Haribo.
Haribol. Thank you. Hare
All
Krishna.
glories to Prabhu.